My name is Clarisse Betancourt Román. I am currently working as a field application scientist for Illumina, and I'm located in Michigan. And I'm going to give you an introduction about Illumina and our commitment with our community, specifically with the students that we're aiming that they will be our future scientists, right? But before I do that, I want to give you a little bit of an introduction about me and how my journey up to be part of this company. So again, my name is Clarisse Betancourt. I am currently located in Michigan, but my bachelor's degree was actually done at the University of Puerto Rico in environmental sciences and a minor in geography. After that degree, I took a year off where I worked at the university for a period of time. And during that time, I came to Michigan to work on my master's in ecology and evolutionary biology. Overall, I have roughly 10 years of experience in research. And I have been working at the intersection of microbiology, molecular biology, and environmental sciences. I had done a little bit of everything, and I will share with you what I have done during this last 10 years. So I mentioned I did my bachelor's in environmental sciences and a minor in geography. And during that time, I was really lucky to participate in a lot of research experiences in different labs at the university and also outside of the university. So in 2009, I'd applied to a week program at Texas A&M, where they were focusing on working on a software called ArcGIS. And through that week, I learned how to use this software kind of like in a lot of details, right? And from that experience, I was able to work that upcoming summer on a research here on the bottom left side with nonprofit communities in Puerto Rico. Nonprofit communities in Puerto Rico are the communities that are not linked to the government water resources. So these are local communities that they have their own overflows, water resources, and their own wells. And we help them through this project to generate GIS locations and maps for all of this water resources and their wells, so they could then move forward with other applications to keep them up to date in their kind of like logistic to keep their wells up and running to their communities. I was also, during that process, I met these two other undergrads students that were working on the same project, and they introduced me to other researchers that were working at the university. And by that, I was able to join the limnology lab. And in that laboratory as an undergrad, I was doing a lot of things that sometimes people don't want to do, right? Because they're kind of repetitive and kind of boring for more advanced researchers, but it was a total new experience for me. So I did a lot of data entry and water processing. And as it was a limnology lab, we were working with insects in water. So I learned a lot about identifying different insects and things like that. And after that, in the same lab, I was able to focus on a specific project where we were going on the field or to different communities to conduct field work. So we were collecting samples from soil and different vegetation in areas adjacent to a river. So we were also working with the community to help them identify this vegetation and to try to identify those that were invasive species and that could be causing harm to the fauna and the other species in those rivers. So I mentioned that I was able to do internships in the university and outside of the university. So 2 of the internships that I did outside of the University of Puerto Rico was with NASA. So during the summer of 2010, I was extremely fortunate and lucky to go to the Marshall Space Flight Center, where I was able to work on a project where we were modeling watershed and watershed and hydrodynamic modeling to evaluate the impact of land use change and climate change in the aquatic ecosystems in Mobile Bay. Mobile Bay is a bay in Alabama, and this was a really amazing project. I learned a lot. I was able also to interact with a big group of undergraduate students, as I'm showing up here. And we were also able to meet astronauts and other people that work in the center. And then later on in spring 2011, I applied for a second internship with NASA, and this time I went to the Goddard Space Flight Center, which is located in Maryland. And on this project, I was still working with land use change, but we were actually focusing on another analysis or work that we called remote sensing. And we were classifying those images and the areas around 2 national parks in Delaware to identify the implications of these changes in the ecosystem inside of these 2 national parks. And again, it was a really great experience. I got exposure to different researchers and to different research that was going on in the center. And I was also able to interact with other people that were doing their undergraduate degrees in other universities, and kind of like it started my network really early on in my career. After that, I started my master's at the University of Michigan. This is the pictures here on the top left. I started my degree in 2012, and I finished it in 2014. During my master's, I focused on host microbiome interaction. So I was focusing on an amphibian fungal pathogen called a chytrid fungus, and I used frogs, nematodes, and blue crayfishes as my model to study the virulence of this fungus. And this is the kind of like the introduction for me to microbiome and specific molecular techniques that we were using in the lab to conduct my experiment. After that, I started working as a research assistant at the Biology and the Built Environment Center at the University of Oregon. And there I was working, as I said, as a research assistant, focusing on indoor and human microbiome projects. I was working really close with undergrads, grad students, and postdocs, helping them with their project design down to sample collection, processing, and processing their samples in the lab, as well as working with next generation sequencing libraries, which is what I support in my current job. After that, I started working as the laboratory manager of the microbiome sequencing core at the University of Michigan. Here I have a picture of the group that I worked with. That was the first time that I worked managing people, so that was really challenging and a learning experience. But we work directly with researchers and other external customers, where they were sending us their samples, and we were responsible to process them, sequence them, provide them with DNA sequencing data for their projects. And from there, I applied and I joined the Illumina team as the field application scientist in Michigan. And here in my position, I provide service and support to our customers, and my customers are now all the laboratories, companies, startup companies, or already pretty established bigger companies that are using our instruments or any or any library prep or any product in our portfolio. So I serve as the liaison between our company and these research labs. So I provide instrument and application trainings, and I also support them if anything doesn't go well or as expected. So there's a lot of customer service and interpersonal skills that go into my current job as well as a scientific background. I'm also extremely committed with outreach in my community, and these are just some of the pictures of the events that I have been really lucky to be engaging with. Some of them I have been engaging since 2012 and 2013. This kind of event that Illumina provide for external members of the community to participate, as well as our employees to participate, it's great. And yeah, I just wanted to share you some of the events that as Illumina does. We encourage our future scientists, right, to explore their curiosity and to consider the STEM careers for their future. So here more about Illumina itself. So the power of genomics and what can we do by knowing your genome. So we can provide insight into predispositions and symptoms. We could help inform proactive health management and lifestyle choices, suggest conditions for which your children might be at risk during your pregnancy, guide drugs choices, and also provide personalized choices in care. Illumina is an applied genomics technology company making genomics useful for all. We are over 7,000 employees, and our headquarters is located in San Diego, California, and our company was founded in 1998. As I mentioned, our headquarters is located in San Diego, but we are operating globally. We had our solution center in Baltimore, and we also have other centers in Foster City, Hayward, and Madison, as well as in other countries across. Our mission is unlocking the power of the genome to improve human health. And the why we're here, right, and why we have that mission is because we believe that genomics will change everything from how we diagnose and treat cancer to feeding the world population. And by partnering with educators, we can inspire the next generation of sequencing scientists, engineers, and innovators. These are some of the programs that I will want to highlight as well. So we have virtual resources to educate and inspire teachers and students of all ages, including DNA Decode and the Illumina Genomics Discoveries. And that's all I have today. I will make sure to share these slides and these links as well with you at the end of this call.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Clarisse. That was so interesting. I really enjoy what Illumina does, and especially with just all of the really exploring a lot of the applications of genomics. It is wild. So thank you so much. And lastly, another question we have here is, Clarisse, I think this is more directed towards you. With Illumina and all of the work they're doing on genomics, I don't know, could you speak to some of the careers that are available?
So there are a variety of career options. You can become a genetic counselor. You can work in genomics as a researcher. You can work on a clinical environment, meaning like you will become one of these nurses or doctors that actually use the genomic information in order to move forward. The decisions, right, in terms of medication and things like that. The National Human Genome Research Institute, and they also have a few list of careers that your students can choose to go in genomics. So there's a lot to do. There's also bioinformaticians and data scientists, so that will be more with the data the genomic data, right? We're processing, analyzing, and trying to make conclusions out of it. So it's a big field, so there's plenty of options.
Awesome, thank you.